Well, welcome to the 700 Club. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had an amazing thing. Hurricane Florence has continued to storm trackers, and they say, what is the deal? Well, here is what it looks like. And the weather forecasters said the hurricane's path is, quote, bizarre. You know, we prayed, and, look at that. It came in here at the point of aiming toward tidewater, and then it went down that way, away from us, and we asked the Lord to take it out of here, and He did. We haven't had it's like a shield that God has put around us, but it's called bizarre, and here is what the headline in the paper says: Storm's path takes odd turn. There's a storm's path takes odd turn. Well, the odd turn and bizarre is because you and I prayed, and it's not hitting this area. I mean, we'll have some storm stuff out there in the Atlantic.
There'll still be coastal stuff,
but
coastal damage.
Those big heavy winds are not hitting our area, but look at that. It said it's bizarre. Why? Because God's people prayed, and that's what happened. I mean, this is a miracle, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this area here used to be, it was called Hurricane Alley, and when back in just the beginning, way back in 1961, that hurricane was stopped in its tracks, went back down, and we've had a hand of protection over this area since. And when we pray, God does miracles. Terry?
We'll continue to pray for the Carolinas because more than 10 million people are in the hurricane's path, with many still scrambling to get out of its way. CBN's Jenna Browder brings our coverage.
It's the calm before the storm. Hurricane Florence is closing in on the Carolinas as more than 10 million people brace for the worst.
Temperature, dew point, wind speed.
Storm hunters flying near the eye of the storm.
We're just trying to make it so you have a more accurate prediction.
Space station images show its size and scope, 80 miles across and packing 110 mile-per-hour winds. Florence has now been downgraded to a Category 2. But experts say don't let that fool you. It still has a huge wind field of more than 400 miles and the potential to dump massive amounts of rain.
You can see the future path of Florence coming into the coast of North Carolina as a Category 2 on the Saffir-Simpson scale, then weakening rapidly, but it'll be a slow mover, and once it moves inland, the huge threat for some devastating flooding. So rainfall amounts here could exceed 20 inches, perhaps getting up to 40 inches over the next few days here. And the rain will lead to significant river flooding, and that will continue for perhaps over a week.
Meantime, time is running out to evacuate. At Fort Bragg in North Carolina, the 82nd Combat Aviation Brigade is moving out. The military base now a staging site for FEMA.
Please leave now.
And in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, hospitals are racing to evacuate patients.
We're trying to get everybody out, and as such, we're shutting the hospital down.
There's no backing down on the magnitude of the storm in relation to where it's going to hit.
The system could bring a deadly storm surge, a 13-foot wall of water in some areas, with a 1-2 punch of up to 40 inches of rain.
So it's a big, powerful Atlantic hurricane coming right into North Carolina initially, and then we have to see whether it wants to turn back to the southwest and hug the coast all the way down to Charleston before finally making its way inland.
First responders, law enforcement, and FEMA, and they're all ready.
President Trump issued this warning.
Get out of its way. Don't play games with it.
Then at this school in the Raleigh area, students worship as the storm nears and pray for another downgrade. On the coast, some residents are still scrambling to make last-minute preparations. CBN's Eric Rosales is in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, with more.
Time is running out to evacuate safely, and emotions are running high.
This beautiful beach here, you can't imagine what it's going to be like when we come back. It's in God's hand, and we don't know why things happen, but they do, and we can't control any of that.
Here in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, it's definitely the calm before the storm. The sun is out, the wind is blowing a bit, but it's definitely not the weather that you'd predict with a Category 3 hurricane just a few hundred miles off the shoreline. A number of people have heeded the warning and have packed up their belongings and headed off, but some are deciding to stay.
We're all boarded up. We got our shutters shut and plywood on the windows, and we're kind of battened down, and we got enough for over a week, water and whatnot.
So you're actually going to ride it out in your home?
Oh, we are. Yeah, we are. Yeah.
We're expecting a number of supplies that will be used by our volunteers to kind of assist the victims of the storm in the aftermath.
Churches and faith-based organizations are gathering supplies to help care for those who will be displaced after the massive storm leaves its mark.
We have a number of feeding units which are capable of feeding tens of thousands of people a day. We can have laundry units which also help with some of the immediate needs of the storm. We also have volunteers stand ready with chainsaws and other equipment to help.
Others turned to social media and held live prayer sessions asking God to cause Hurricane Florence to lose strength.
Before it was over with, had about 1,600 people that were have been a part of praying with us about Hurricane Florence.
Those prayers have definitely been answered as the hurricane has gone from a Category 4 to a 3 and now to a 2. But Pat, as some of the forecasters have mentioned, we're still looking at 100+ mile-per-hour winds and inland flooding that could be up to 40 inches in some places.
Eric, they're expecting devastating rains and floods on the coast, and they're talking about that those inland waterways in the Chowan River and all. How are they preparing for it?
Well, I tell you what, lots of sandbags there that we did see a number of sandbags, and you can see a number of the crews here behind me. These are electricity crews. They're going to be able to go out at a moment's notice. We were staying in the hotel with a bunch of search and rescue units, and they actually have already taken off, and they're setting up in different areas around the Carolinas just so that they can be able to be there to help the people.
How long is this going to go on? Do the people say down there, are they looking for a day or two or a few hours, or what are they talking about?
No. I mean, we're actually talking about at least a couple of days. I mean, with the high pressure system that's just to the north of the storm, that's just creating this storm. It's just going to continue to sit over the Carolinas and just continue to drop rain. That's where we're going to get the 40 inches plus of rain. So we're definitely going to be heeding the warning ourselves. We're going to go a little bit more inland, but then we're going to be retreating back possibly to Charlotte area.
Well, Eric, thank you for covering. We'll look forward eagerly to your reports. But we have an Operation Blessing. It's already on its staging locations and ready to roll when the storm passes. Anthony Lloyd with Operation Blessing's Domestic Disaster Relief is joining us. Anthony, good to see you.
Good morning, Dr. Robertson. Great to be here.
Tell me, what's Operation Blessing's doing right now?
Well, Operation Blessing, our mission is to show God's love to those that are in need. So we've staged out of harm's way, and we're ready to move into the area when conditions are right, and we can adjust as the storm, as you know, changes its characteristics.
What kind of aid is Operation Blessing going to give to people?
Right away, we're prepared to set up and provide hot meals for responders and then the volunteers as they come in, and certainly those that need, our prayers and what we bring, the hot meals.
But you've got hot meals, you've got water, you've got blankets. I mean, any shelter for the people?
Well, we work more with individuals to get them ready for when conditions allow us to help them clean their houses out and move back in, and that sometimes is a little bit longer than the immediate response because those are the first responders, and we help them as well.
Well, now, how long, I mean, the long-term recovery, I mean, I think in a lot of these storms, the biggest problem is power outages because trees fall, and it takes, how long does it take to get electricity back on?
It depends, but we muster an army of volunteers. That's our specialty. Mm-hmm. And we use volunteers. They come to us, we pray with them, we prepare them, and they go out and they really affect the hearts of those that have had their power out or a tree down or whatever. So that's what we do.
We've got guys with chainsaws and things like that to get rid of the logs?
We can do that, yes, sir. And then it's also, some of the volunteers have their own equipment, but we'll work with partners on scene and build, an army. And it just depends on what's going on.
How big is the army?
It can it can really ramp up to beyond hundreds, up into the thousands. It just
Thousands of
depends.
people volunteering.
Yes, sir.
And you're in charge of that?
I'm the new director.
The new. Well, I'm glad you're with us, Anthony Lloyd of Operation Blessing. And folks, if you want to participate in helping this disaster relief, we've got a telephone number, 1-800-700-7000, or you can send something to cbn.com. But just Operation Blessing Disaster Relief, because with what's building out in the Atlantic and what's also coming on the Pacific, it looks like this storm, Florence, is not going to be the first one. And Anthony, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right.